Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Dr. P. Samuel, Assistant Professor of Biotechnology, Ayya, Nadar, Janaki, Ammal College, Sivakasi. So, in the video tutorial மூலியமா நம்ம பார்க்க போற கான்செப்ட் என்ன அப்படின்னா applications of marine algae. ஸோ அதை நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம், இன் ஷார்ட்டாக எப்படி சொல்லுவோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா algal biotechnology அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ we all know that biotechnology is a subject of applying technology on lower organisms to extract things for the benefit of higher organisms, particularly human beings. So microorganisms அல்லது lower organismsலேருந்து ஹியூமன் பீயிங்ஸுக்கு தேவையான பெனிஃபிஷியரி ப்ராடக்டை எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணக்கூடிய ஒரு 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 சப்ஜெக்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம அதை பயோடெக்னாலஜி அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ எப்படிலாம் நம்ம மைக்ரோப்ஸை யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம அந்த கான்செப்டில் படிப்போம். ஸோ இதில் என்ன பார்க்க போகிறோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா algal biotechnology அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு சப்ஜெக்டை பற்றி பார்க்க போகிறோம். which means what? Applications of algae to human beings, which comes in the paper called Marine Biotechnology, which is a core paper for second MSc students, right? Okay, let's move on to the subject. So what is the history of single cell proteins? So இதுக்கு வந்து forefathers யார் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேட்டிங்கன்னா Egyptians தான், right? So they unknowingly use single cell proteins. So எப்படி அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க ஃபஸ்ட்டு யூஸ் பண்ண ஆர்கானிசம் எஸ்சிபியாக யூஸ் பண்ண ஆர்கானிசம் வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னா ஸ்ட்ரெப்டோகாக்கஸ் லாக்டிஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு பாக்டீரியா, which is a gram positive cell, but they don't know that they are using a bacterium as single cell proteins. So without knowing its origin, Egyptians started to use the first single cell proteins, right, in the evolution. In modern science, the term single cell protein was coined by Carol L. Wilson of Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the year 1966, right? It is a definite question in section A. Who coined the term single cell protein? So it will be definitely asked in section A part. So don't forget the name, Carol L. Wilson, in the year 1966. It is foremost important. In olden days, the product was also used as feed for the cattle, right? It is protein rich material. That is why it is also given to the cattle as the source of food, right? In short, single cell proteins are called as SCP, right? So in general, algal cells are preferred for its production, right? So SCPs are known for its protein values, and it helps human beings to escape from a protein deficiency state called kwashiorkor, because as we all know that the growth of population is growing logarithmically. So it is a crucial situation where the government has to meet the demands with respect to food. So in this crucial state, we will need a alternate for the production of food. So algal material or algal supplements will definitely help to meet the demand, right? So it definitely helps the people to escape from the protein deficiency disease called kwashiorkor. ஸோ இப்போ தான் நம்ம பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஈஸ்டெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம். அண்ட் எதுக்காக ஈஸ்ட் வந்து ப்ரிஃபர் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இட் கண்டைன்ஸ் 50 to 80% ஆஃப் ப்ரோட்டீன்ஸ். ஸோ இன்னொரு ரேஷியோ சொல்லுவாங்க அப்படின்னா நம்ம 1 கிலோ ஆஃப் வெஜிடபிள்ஸ் சாப்பிட்றது மூலயமா கிடைக்கிற ப்ரோட்டீன்ஸை 1 கிராம் ஆஃப் எஸ்சிபியில் நம்மளால் நம்ம உடம்பால் என்ன பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்னா அப்சர்வ் பண்ண முடியும். ஸோ அந்த அளவுக்கு எஸ்சிபியில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ப்ரோட்டீன் ரிச் ஃபுட் சப்ளிமெண்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஸோ தட் இஸ் வை இட் இஸ் ரெக்கமெண்டட் பை மெனி பீப்புள் ஆஸ் அ சப்ளிமெண்ட், ஃபுட் சப்ளிமெண்ட், இன் பர்டிகுலர் ப்ரோட்டீன் சப்ளிமெண்ட், ரைட்? So it is suitable for all age groups. There is no restriction, right? So it is rich in important substances like unsaturated fatty acid. They are also rich in minerals like zinc, iron, manganese, and even calcium. Calcium, as you all know, that it is required for the bone strength. Zinc, ions are cofactors, right, for some proteins of the human biological system. So basically, it is rich in proteins, and it contains soluble form of digestible form of proteins. So it is recommended for people belongs to all age groups. So in those days, or in modern science, and this particular yeast called Saccharomyces cerevisiae is being used as SEP. Sometimes a bacterium called Zymomonas mobilis, which is also recommended to be used as single cell proteins. Can we use marine algae as SEP, right? And this photographs was taken in the year 2008. So it was, the photograph belongs to one of my student, Mrs. Ishwari Rajesh. Now he is manager and IT consultant in an agency based in Bangalore. So she did her MSc project in University of Madras in CIS in Botany Laboratory. There she took his photograph, and this is the micrograph image of Dunaliella salina, which is a marine derived single cell algae. And marine algae can also be used as SEP. There is no restriction in that. Even these photographs were also taken by the same girl, Ishwari Rajesh, Dunaliella salina and Dunaliella tertiolecta, right? Try to learn how to pronounce the name of the organism, because it discriminates a biology student from others. How do we pronounce is very, very important. See, in the year 1985, Fabregas and Herrero, they recommended few species can be used as single cell proteins. According to them, Tetraselmis, Isochrysis galbana, Dunaliella tertiolecta, and Chlorella stigmatophora are also can be used as the source of single cell proteins derived from marine origin. What are all the advantages? And microbes are having short generation of time, right? So it is very easy for us to culture and maintain them in a less space. Since microbes are involved, they can easily genetically manipulated, right? Because algae are most of the algae are single celled in nature, so they are very simple to handle. So we can manipulate them in order to increase the protein content. Microbes utilize simple raw materials like carbon and nitrogen to grow, and the substrate used for the cultivation of SEP is very, very less complex, so that it won't produce any toxic byproducts which in turn pollute the environment. So cultivation procedures is eco-friendly. There is no toxic byproducts, and other thing, algae use simple raw materials for its growth. Disadvantages, there are other side of the SEP. SEP is not recommended for people with gout and kidney stone problems, because few marine algae are rich in nucleic acids. You already know that nucleic acid metabolism could result in the generation of toxic metabolites, which in turn definitely cause the disease called gout and kidney stone problems. And under rare circumstances, SEP could bring out hypersensitivity. This is noted in a very rare case, but we need to consider, because we should not, because this is meant for human beings. So we should abide to the conditions, right? So under some circumstances it causes hypersensitivity, and proper identification is very necessary, because wrong identification sometimes may leads to bring out lethal health issues. Applications, well, it is recommended for people with diabetics, very good. It reduces blood cholesterol, even it seems to reduce stress. It prevents the accumulation of cholesterol in blood vessels. Particularly the pigments derived from single cell proteins are free from sulfur and ammonia. That's why these pigments are recommended in the industries for the production of biolipsticks and used for the production of facial creams, cosmetics, bio cosmetics. These are all free from cancer inducing agents. So it holds lot of applications and lot of biological potentials. That is why it is recommended by many people for human use. Regarding its production, a most common method called the pit method. So for this we need to dig a shallow pit, because I already told you that algae are photosynthetic organisms, so that they will grow only in the zone up to where a sunlight penetrates, right? The zone is called the photic zone. Digging large pits or steep pits won't allow the proper growth of algae. Sometimes we can construct a concrete tank, shallow tank for its cultivation, and after following digging a pit or constructing a tank, flood the pit with water, enough water, probably fresh water, and after filling the pit or concrete tank with water, it is very necessary to close the mouth of the pit or tank with cloths. Otherwise it will become a breeding place for mosquitoes. In some cases the water may be mixed with mosquitocidal agents like parathion, which inhibits the reproduction of mosquitoes in the water, right? In the recommended level, right? Utilizing higher concentration of parathion may also leads to lethal effects. Utilizing recommended level of parathion is highly necessary to reduce the toxicity. And after creating the pit, we can inoculate the pit with seed culture. Here a thing is to be noted, because the seed culture needs to be properly identified one or taxonomically classified one, because I told you that wrongly identified species could bring several lethal effects. So this has to be avoided. Lethal in the sense death causing effects, because ultimately it is consumed by human beings. So we need to be very careful about the identification of the species. Even most of the people recommend mushroom for the source of ACT, single cell protein, but some mushrooms are very toxic in nature. A group of mushrooms called black angels, which contain alpha amanitin, a toxic compound, which could bring out lethal effects in human beings. Those who consume it, they will be vulnerable to intestinal puncture and other digestive related disorders. So identification is very important. So I recommend to purchase seed culture from recognized universities or recognized agricultural concerns. And this point we have already discussed. So in the presence of sunlight, the algal cells started to grow and multiply. This usually happens because they are photosynthetic eukaryotes. They require sunlight for its growth. So we need to provide enough sunlight for the growth and reproduction of algae, right? And in the beginning, algal cells are bottom. At the time of inoculation, the algal cells are settled in the bottom. As days goes on, the cells started to mature when it matures, the air sacs within the algae also gets matured. This makes the algae to float on the surface of water, and if it floats, it is a sign for the cells, they are to understand that the cells are mature. Once the cells are at the top of the water, it is ready for harvesting. Once it is harvested, it is air dried, and its quality needs to be checked before marketing, because again and again I am recommending this finally going to reach human beings through the market. So it will not cause any lethal effects. To ensure that, the quality of the product has to be checked before being released into the market, right? So let's summarize the points. Algal cells are photosynthetic eukaryotes. Even marine algal cells are recommended to be used as ACP because of its high protein content. It has also biological potentials. It is recommended in many industries, and it is recommended for the people with diabetics. It decreases stress. Even it prevents accumulation of cholesterol in the blood vessels. See, there are a lot of advantages of using algae. And if you have any queries in this regard, please post a mail to me in the given mail address. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for your patient listening, and I hope we will meet in yet another classic video. Thank you. Bye bye.